Hey guys, Nananki here, bringing you another Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary, but there's going to be less gameplay commentary and more like a few little things I want to bring up and mention, but it is also going to be a little bit of gameplay commentary. I will say this right off the bat: I'm using the Kritz, Blitzlager, and the Uberson. I'm using the Kritz, having been using the Vaccinator in the rounds before this, and I don't dislike it. In fact, I like it more the more I use it, but I did come to a realization about it. I am more aware of my surroundings, behind me especially, and more able to pay attention for spies and so forth when I'm using one of the standard mediguns, because I don't have to pay attention to what kind of damage is incoming. I can just check my back, and as you see me doing pretty frequently, and staying aware generally of what's going on behind me without having to check what kind of damage my target is taking at that particular moment. And although that is a welcome change and increase in complexity to the job of medic, it's not, at the same time, something that's going to make you less vulnerable to spies. It makes you more vulnerable to spies. I was surprised to see a sniper there on my team. Another thing I wanted to bring up there was just a little bit of a word of warning to anybody out there ever in the history of ever who happens to run scan disk, or check disk as it's more, maybe less commonly known as. Do not stop it early under any conditions ever. Even if it's just in Windows 7 and you decide to cancel it because it's been running for 12 hours and it's only 25% done, and you're like, okay, something is wrong here, just stop. And the window goes away, but guess what? ScanDisk has locked the drive. It won't unlock it. You've got to go jump through hoops to get access to your proper formatted partition without losing all the data on it. And it's just a little bit of a nightmare. And that was a little bit of a melee spree brought to an end by another medic who stopped me from going for the sniper. If I had been smart about it, I would have zigzagged my way through there. It's just so been timed and gotten out of there with my life intact, ideally. But I am a glutton for punishment when it comes to going for snipers. I can't help myself. It's like, look, his back is turned and everything. So double healing a heavy because he's not at full health, and also because the other medic is using the quick fix, which means if that heavy does not have an overheal, he is not going to get one unless I intervene in the process. And I hit that spy after he was dead, so I called out spy and let I am Spy Crab know there is, in fact, another legitimate spy around here somewhere in the immediate vicinity. So that is the word of warning I have for those of you with scan disk and check disk. It can lead to many, many hours of nightmarish troubleshooting, trying to regain access, and just crossing your fingers and being so unwilling to make any changes to the data itself. It's like, no, I don't want to rewrite anything. I don't want to rewrite a drive letter. I just need it to be recognized and not say access denied. There's the return of the spy. So, and the last thing I wanted to mention and bring up that was not gameplay related, it looks like actually I'll get everything I wanted to bring up that was not gameplay fairly quickly, especially if I don't talk about how long it's going to take me to bring it up, is thank you everybody who left a little, get well soon message, or, hope you're doing well. For my dad there, he is in fact released from the hospital. He's doing better, and the future is, although uncertain, certainly bright. And that's better than it was by leaps and bounds. Bright might be a stretch, but, hey, be optimistic, right? Bright is out of the hospital and okay, so good enough. Anyway, thank you guys for that. It really meant a lot to get that kind of support, even though this is just a gaming channel, and we usually try to keep it light. You guys are all very awesome for that, so thank you. And continuing with the gameplay at hand, we've been stuck in this tunnel here for a while, and I've got a Kritz, and he's got a rocket launcher, and I feel like the two go together really well, and then they pop an Uber at exactly the right moment. I'm like, well, all I can do here is run. I mean, they know it too, so I'm just gonna kind of get the hell out of there. And I think everyone but me died. And what's in the tunnel here? What do we have built up? A series of dispensers. Like, yeah, I bet you're really wishing right about this moment that you would built a sentry gun. They're handy for that. And of course, random Kritz there takes out half my health bar in like two little tiny chops. And I think to myself, oh, I could try to circle straight from pyro. Yeah, there's still the heavy on the cart 10 feet away. I'm very quickly distracted. Normally, I don't take I'll take the dead cams out, but this one amused me because this unfortunate fellow here, he gets face stabbed so badly. I had to slow it down. I mean, look at this. He's right in front of the guy. It's like undeniable that they're facing each other, and then he got backstabbed. Like, that is just a lag artifact. I don't even know, because, I'm seeing them both based on their connection to the server, right? So that's like what actually happened, was they were really face to face, and the game was just like, nah. He reached around him with his elastic arm. That's something somebody needs to make with Source Filmmaker. Every time a face stab goes off, no, it's just like go gadget arm. That's what's actually happening. Or perhaps Luffy from One Piece, the rubber arm. There's another example of me getting just kind of warded away from the people I'd really like to heal. I'd really like to stay with those guys. But sometimes you gotta break heal beam to deal with things like, heavies with charged killing gloves of boxing. Or actually, that was probably just the buffalo steak sandwich, because I don't think he got a kill up to that moment. But the important thing was that I had a Kritz, and again, he has a rocket launcher. That's a combination I'm always about. I feel like giving a Kritz to a soldier is maybe one of the best things you can do, and I noticed at this moment the stickies, and I'm like, there's stickies all over the ground. Do pay attention. Do not stand on top of them. Warning, alert, stickies on the ground. Now we've got a multitude of engineers, and I was even thinking to myself, like, that is exactly what the doctor ordered. Like, 3 NGs in a little group. Even a very good proficient spy is going to be very hard-pressed to pull off 3 backstabs in rapid succession while sapping the stuff. I mean, you're basically going to have to sap first to even have time to get 3 stabs. Unless maybe you're using the Conover's kunai that steals health. I've seen and participated in getting away with some pretty absurd chain stabs while being blasted by level 3 sentries and so forth. Like, nope, more health, nope, more health. So, you can get away with things sometimes. And again, counter crits with an Uber. So, unfortunate, but what you gonna do? Just try to heal everybody. And if I had been really paying attention, I would have run up and healed the Pyro who took one for the team and knocked everybody back. But I was more concerned with hiding around this little beam here, this concrete pillar, this load-bearing structure perhaps, and the spy, operating as a spy should, took advantage of the confusion and the chaos to try to move in and do murder and mayhem, and he was fairly successful at it. And I'm doing what a medic should do, just to heal everybody, because look at this, there's like 6 people on the screen at once who need healing, but I'm always willing to prioritize a soldier who has popped any kind of banner, because keeping him alive is going to amplify the whole group. Even if he is getting rockets reflected, those direct hit rockets are really hard to reflect properly and hit somebody with. Even if you do reflect a direct hit, it's hard enough to aim reflections, kinda, sometimes. It's even harder to aim a direct hit. And I was charged there, but I'm being chased by this demo, and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna hit this before I lose it. There's just chaos all around me. Things have kind of worked out to our team's advantage, even though there's still grenades rolling all around me. I have 11 health. I pull out the Bloodslogger at this point to try to get a little bit of health back before I get inevitably killed by a random rolling grenade or something, and that is exactly what plays out in the final moments of the round. That's usually how my good rounds end, is with me dead. I never get around to the end. I'm never there for the celebration. I never get to high-five anyone. It's a very sad story. But anyway, moving on to the final round here. The very quickly played out round it usually is. The beginning of this round stuck out to me just because, as a medic, I always want to put my teammates between me and the enemies. And who came out to the cart was like a scout, an NG, a pyro. I'm like, I'm out of people to heal very quickly in that scenario. And I've got half an Uber built up, but they're already pushing up the first hill. I'm looking out the window like, this is just no good. I'm going to go meet somebody in spawn, because there's more likelihood of me meeting up with someone in spawn who's going to actually be able to do something effective with an Uber, as opposed to just running out and getting killed, trying to stop them from getting that first hill. I felt like that was inevitable. They were getting the first hill, and they did. They got the first hill without doubt, but I did get that Uber built up. Somehow, our NG got a mini-sentry set up there in the middle, and I think probably partially due to our intervention with this Uber, they were just distracted enough that they were not able to deal with it appropriately, which would be, quickly and efficiently, and instead it did all kinds of work down there, and I ran off the ledge. Brilliant maneuver on my part. That's kind of okay, I suppose. There's plenty of people down here to heal, and as it turned out, there was a cart that needed pushing. So I jumped on the cart with everybody else, and of course you gotta crouch and look out for snipers, right? That's always what you gotta do when you're pushing the cart on this map, because that's basically the most vulnerable method of death, is being shot by snipers. So here's this engineer asking for a high five, and I'm like, you know what, I will oblige you. And so I tried to face him and high five, but I couldn't quite get on top of him and in front of the cart and everything else, and so I'm just taunting out in midair, crossing my fingers that I don't die, and immediately notice the people around me start dying to headshots, and I'm like, I'm not entirely sure where that guy is, but I know I do not want to get headshotted. So the soldier is taking it upon himself to charge the cart, and I know from experience the Bloodslogger is a hell of a thing to run straight into. Luckily for me, all his rocket jumping left him with just a shade below the amount of health he would have needed to even get a rocket at me, and I'm able to just inch the cart in the last few feet and cause a massive explosion that kills me. And that is success, of course, in Team Fortress 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I do greatly appreciate it. Do like it if you liked it, and I will catch you next time. Peace.